a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beach dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay at home, Disney Dad.
We looked through the bin. We do not have part 1 on VHS. But you know what? Let's not overthink it. Pop it in, press play, trailer for Angels in the Outfield, and blank check. So once again, we are in great company with this movie. Feature presentation, scrolling blue logo like it should be. We start with a boy writing a letter to Henry. He's referencing a bunch of stuff that I assume happened in the first movie. That, once again, we don't have. We're starting with the sequel. He thanks Henry for taking care of White Fang. He tells Henry that by the time this letter gets to him, the ice will have melted, and White Fang loves spring, so that's a plus. Then he signs it off, love, Jack. Title sequence, White Fang 2. They play Soarin' music. And take me back right now. They're hunting, he shoots, and he misses a wild goat, and after he misses, he says to White Fang, sorry, guess potatoes again for supper. We're in Alaska, 1906. He heads home, and a hobo named Lloyd Haverson looks like he's trying to break into his cabin, shack, home-looking thing. He's actually looking for the other boy, Jack Conroy, but Jack went back to San Francisco a year ago to write letters. Henry Casey is the boy with White Fang. Hobo asks the boy if he's here alone, and then he tries to draw his gun, but Henry was too fast to draw his first and chases the hobo off. See, Casey is hoarding gold in the cabin floor, which you ask me, the floor is a perfect place to hide your gold. I mean, don't break into my house looking for gold in the floor. There's definitely none. The hobo is back and he's going to shoot White Fang, but then he blinks and suddenly the dog disappears and reappears like right behind him like he's supernatural. The hobo falls backward into his own bear trap and gets bear trapped in the butt, and he's running away with his bear trap flapping on his butt like the dog and Something About Mary. What are we watching? My daughter says Henry looks like her brother if her brother had fancy hair. Take that, brother. Suddenly we're in the middle of looks like an Aboriginal ceremony. There's a white preacher in black, and he tells Moses he wants Moses' soul. The preacher tells him his religion is bunk, and he can't live following spirits. That's what the Catholic preacher says. The preacher wants Moses to move his people before they starve, as the animals that they usually hunt don't come around here anymore, so they're starving. That night, the Aboriginal leader named Moses dreams of a woman running in a white dress, and who hasn't had that dream? She's running in slow motion on the beach. I usually skip this part. White Fang is there now, and caribou, lots of caribou. He wakes up and tells his niece Lily that he had a dream, and in the morning she must go and find the wolf, and he will lead them to the caribou, which will return and feed his people. I like this movie. This is well done. The sets and the camera work look fantastic, and this movie looks expensive. It does. This is good. Henry is loading all his bags of gold onto a ramshackle raft, and even White Fang knows this is a horrible idea. I guess he wants to put it in the bank. Back to the First Nations people. There's an Aboriginal story about an ice woman. Lily asks when she does find the wolf, what shall she do with it? And her mom says, you'll know. Thanks, Mom. Henry is on his ramshackle raft, and Lily is in her canoe, and these two are going to collide any second. But first, he goes over the rapids. Henry falls into the water. White Fang jumps in after him, and Lily is just walking through the forest, and she hears Fang barking. And wow, that was easy. She found White Fang in like 2 hours. Henry almost drowns, but she saves him, or whatever the hell this thing is, saves them. They did get separated from White Fang, though, yeah. White Fang meets up with a couple other wolves, because he's like half wolf, half dog, I think, and everyone's on their own adventure now. Henry wakes up in Lily's canoe, and he's like, who are you, lady? Where's White Fang? Where's my gold? He goes, it must be somewhere in the damn river. Disney dropping the D word. Back at the village, Moses sees Lily's canoe returning and is super excited. She must have found White Fang. She must have White Fang with her. Nope, just some broke white guy. There's a big ceremony when she returns, and I'm not far off. They're all expecting White Fang, and this is just some white guy. They're like, ah. Oh, okay, she thinks Henry is White Fang. She says the wolf went under the water and Henry came up. So he's a wolf man. Henry says, no, Moses, your daughter's dumb. She's an idiot. I live with the wolf. Moses says, This is still good. We can make this work. They're now in like a sweat lodge, and they're explaining to Henry how they respect the mountain, but for 2 years the caribou have not returned. They even sent out 2 scouts to find the caribou, and the scouts didn't return either. But now Henry Casey's here, and this must be a sign. They need the caribou to return to their people, or they're all going to starve or have to move. Everyone thinks Henry's a big deal, and he could lead them to the caribou, but Lily thinks Henry scammed her people, and she tells them to just go. We see some men on horses looking for him, I assume. Henry, though, hides and he makes it to a town, and he tells of these crazy people who think he's a white wolf, and this Aboriginal man looks up and goes, hey, maybe you are. Back at the village, they see the actual wolf, White Fang. Henry sees all the Aboriginal people suffering, and the pastor just says to him, sad, isn't it? And goes back inside. Now, Henry dreams that he and Lily find the caribou together, so he goes back to the village. The priest says he has some mules that know the way back to the village if he needs some help carrying supplies. He's trying to get on his good side. We have a dog frolicking montage. We hard cut to the priest telling someone he wants Henry stopped. Someone sneaks up to shoot Henry from behind. I think it's the guy that owns the general store, but he doesn't. Henry tries to give Lily a gift, and she says, if I wear this, will I look like one of your white girls? Yeah, he doesn't like that. Moses comes out and says, White Fang was here looking for you. Leland is the priest. He wants Henry shot. He really wants that land. Back at the village, there's a ceremony. There's like a dance, and they make Henry wear this giant mask and dance. And you think this would be a powerful moment as he's welcomed into this beautiful culture of rich lore and tradition, but it kind of plays out like it feels like they're kind of making fun of him for real, which it's not cool, and it's weird because so far I feel like Disney has portrayed the indigenous people really well with a lot of respect, which is something Disney hasn't always done in the past. But then they hear White Fang howling outside, and Henry runs out to find his dog wolf, but instead it's a giant black wolf. But then White Fang, the dog wolf, jumps out and attacks the real wolf, and he saves Henry. They are reunited. Lily now gives Henry a gift, and she says she was wrong about him. Lily is up and down and all over the place. Lily's mother and brother have all been taken by the white man's plague. That's not great. Moses says he has to clear his mind before he leaves to find the caribou, and he gives him some like ceremonial drink, and it sends him running into the forest. He's like drunk and almost craps himself, and then he's practicing shooting arrows. Lily shows up and says she could teach him. We get like the reverse date, and she's behind him showing him how to shoot arrows. That's fun. Henry spies on the elders, talking about how Henry is not good, not going to help him at all. There's another young man who thinks he's more worthy than Henry for this quest, and he wants to seal the deal with Lily, but no deal. Henry shoots an arrow, and it ricochets back. Boop, boop, boop. It sticks in the wall beside his head, and that is not how arrows work, folks. Oh, okay, no, never mind. This other guy is Lily's cousin, and he and Henry are running through the forest shirtless together. This movie is a great job of showing how strong and important women are in this culture, and it's great to see that they got this part right. Henry and Lily have a moment, and she's like, when you go home, don't forget about me, White Wolf. But he wants them to be together. She says, I'm a princess, I have to marry one of my own. He says he wants to stay and be part of her world. Back at the store, the evil priest kicks in the door of the general store, and he smashes these like displays and takes guns. He tells the store owner, his little lackey, to get dressed and get armed. They're going to go to the village. Father shows up to the village, like the priest, gets in Henry's grill and is like, I'm losing my patience with you, boy. If you go up to that mountain, it'll be bad for you. And Henry says, don't threaten me, and starts walking away. And the priest looks like he's going to pull out a gun, but instead, vroom, he pulls out a Bible and goes, I'll pray for you. And man, that was great execution. It sounds corny when I say it, but the guy, the actor, this priest, is playing his role perfectly. He looks like an evil lunatic, but still believable. Henry and Lily's cousin are heading up the mountain. There's booby traps everywhere. And then they get like pinned behind a tree as they're getting shot at. But Peter is like, find the caribou for us. And then he runs in the opposite direction, and the men with guns riding horses chase Peter and forget about the other guy, and it's implied that they shoot Peter. Henry gets caught in a snare, and he's upside down hanging, and he's about to get shot when Lily arrives and shoots a flaming arrow at the bad guys. It saves Henry's life. Together, she and him follow White Fang up the mountain. At the top of the mountain, they look over the cliff, and geez, thousands of caribou. They found them, and there's a man-made wall of rocks that are blocking them, and that's why they never return back down. Think about these shots in like the 90s. Like, you can't just use AI. This is good stuff. Henry's like, let's find out who built this wall, and I bet I know who it was. Lily and Henry then fall down a hole in the mountain that they think it's an air shaft for a mine. It's a gold mine, but like a real gold mine. That wasn't, yeah. So they need dynamite so they could blow up the wall and collapse the tunnel at the same time. Henry kicks the guard's ass because they got found down there, and they find a bunch of dynamite. Yeah, it's the evil Priest and his men. Another loose end, the missing hunters are being forced to work in the underground mines. Suddenly there's a standoff between the priest and Henry says, "You're not a priest, are you?" He goes, "Nah, I'm just a greedy American just like you." Ouch. And Henry's like, "I'm not like you. You starved these people." The priest says, "I thought they would leave." Henry shoots him in the arm, and the priest tells his henchmen to go get Henry. The acting and the story really picked up on the second half of this. Like, this is a really good movie. Something fun about a shootout and a fight in a mine. It's like pretty Scooby-Doo-ish with guns. Henry gets away, but they nab Lily. I'm really into this movie now. Henry's walking through the caribou. Great shot. Lily gets nabbed by the priest. Like I said, loaded onto a horse and buggy or stagecoach or something with all the gold, and they're riding away as Henry blows up the rock wall and the caribou stampede down the hill because they're free. A hawk shows Henry, White Fang, and a shortcut through the woods. They leap off the ledge and land on the getaway wagon. As they round the corner, White Fang tackles the evil priest off as the others jump to safety. The priest survives the fall just to stand up and turn around and get crushed by the stampeding caribou. Wonderful low camera angle as they shoot the caribou charging. Good stuff. Great ending. Paid off. Henry frees Lily from the bonds, and the Reverend is killed by the stampeding herd. Like I said, they get hold of the wounded dog. They bring it back with them. Henry's about to leave, and Lily is giving him the cold shoulder. Henry and Lily return a wounded White Fang. Henry's preparing to leave. Oh, this is doubling. Lily gives him the cold shoulder. Henry gets back his gold. Suddenly, Lily, who wanted nothing to do with him before, comes running back. I guess he called her bluff. I don't know what's up with her. She's like, "I choose you now after all." We flash forward, and the wolf has had puppies, and we end with a montage of these actors playing with husky puppies, and I don't know if you can imagine a better paid gig than this right here. Like, look at them, huskies! Freaking cutest puppies in the world, and I'll fight anyone who disagrees. That was a good movie. Prompter went a little weird there in the last couple minutes, but good stuff.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.